Hey guys, uh, afternoon. It's Colby Lawson here. Today we're going mask off with this one. Um, so as usual, the Black Lives Matter roaches are at it again. This time they're obsessing over a violent criminal who was triple tapped by a police officer. Now the context is that the man in question was the man in question was the man in question was caught peeking through parked cars, and someone called the authorities on him. I forgot who it was. Um, Officers, I guess, were coming, and he decided to flee the scene. So the officers eventually caught him a little bit after, not long after. Um, and there was one problem. The guy was resisting. Okay, and this is not a new thing. Lack of accountability is very widespread issue, especially nowadays, 2026. I don't know. Well, I know why there's a lack of accountability, and it's not a good reason at all. It's actually a piss poor reason. It's a really pathetic reason. It's horrible. You know, um, you know, um, this is ridiculous. It's bad enough. We got folks from another country. I'll let you guess which one it is. Trying to take over our country, trying to take over our government, especially in New York. In New York, you know, gun control is like really, really like just out of control. But that's really the whole point of gun control is to disarm citizens, law-abiding citizens, mind you. You know, and on top of it, there's just so much going on. And then we got this happening. So they tried to restrain him. It didn't work. Then he decided to punish their attempts to hold him accountable by pulling out a knife with a fixed blade and stabbing one of the officers. Said officer proceeded to use a taser because that should work, right? Except it didn't work either. So they decided to do the next best thing, which is triple tap the guy. They shot him 3 times. He died, obviously. And now the Black Lives Matter roaches are all up in arms about it. They're all uptight about it. As always, they always jump on the death of a black person when it's suitable for them. Only ever to push their agenda. Any other time someone dies, doesn't matter what race, whatever, an innocent human being, they really don't care. They don't care. Only when it helps them push their narrative do they care. If they can benefit from it, they'll do it. If they can't, the hell with it. So, um, there was a lot of backlash. Now, do I think it was absolutely justified? Y'all know the answer. Y'all know the answer. Yes, I think it was. In my opinion, it was justified. I absolutely think it was justified. Because when you're a violent criminal and you decide to stab a police officer thinking it's GTA 5 and that you can get away with it, that ain't how it works. You get shot for stuff like that. You know, like imagine going to the south, like Florida for example, and you stab an innocent woman that's carrying a firearm. Concealed carry, open carry, what the heck ever. What do you think is gonna happen? You're gonna get shot almost immediately. There's not gonna be a warning. There's not gonna be, hey, why'd you do that? It's just you're gonna get shot because you are a clear threat to that person's life or to that woman's life, and you must be removed permanently. And see, this is the thing. People seem to act like it's such an alien concept to eliminate a threat, by any means necessary when it presents itself. You know, this situation wasn't, oh, the guy's black, shoot him, apprehend him, and if he resists arrest, murder him. No, it wasn't that situation at all. It was a violent criminal getting caught doing something he wasn't supposed to, you know, and being restrained, you know, uh, which didn't work. Then he was tased, which also didn't work, and finally he was shot, which absolutely did work. You know, it's a thing. It shouldn't be such an alien or foreign concept. This isn't a case of police brutality. This is literally just getting rid of a violent criminal. I don't know why that's such a controversial thing when the police officers exhausted all options that were available to them and none of them worked. Only one actually worked, but apparently we can't apparently it's such a very immoral and bad thing, you know, to hold violent criminals accountable for the things that they do. I don't understand how you can even argue that holding violent criminals accountable is such a bad thing. I mean, yeah, the guy was shot 3 times, but why was he shot? Because he pulled a knife on a police officer and stabbed him. And the same police officer shot him 3 times. You know, I mean, really? How can you sit here and say that violent criminals should not be shot when they clearly present a danger to innocent people, especially law enforcement? This wasn't a situation where, you know, police officers see a black man and just shoot him or attack him for no reason. We not in GTA, bro. It feels like it, but no. We're not in Grand Theft Auto 5, man. We're in reality. It's time for people to accept that. And people can get mad all they want, but that's their problem. If you can't even accept reality, then that's really your problem. That doesn't bother me or anyone else. It's weird, but doesn't bother me or anyone else. So without further ado, let's get into the video.
There is outrage today in Madison, Wisconsin over a police shooting that was caught on camera. 4 officers are now on administrative leave after one of them shot and killed a man allegedly armed with a knife. There were large-scale protests within hours of Wednesday's shooting. Mark Strassman is following this, and he joins us now in studio. Mark, good morning.
Hey, good day.
And see, this is the problem with these protests. This isn't just a protest. This is literally advocacy for violent crime to have no consequences whatsoever. These people are basically advocating for a violent criminal. Now, imagine one of those folks were raped, and there was a man with a firearm, and the man decided, you know what, I'm not gonna be labeled a racist, and just walked away. Do you think, for 1 second, that the Black Lives Matter roaches wouldn't find any way to paint him as a racist or everything else but the kitchen sink? Oh, they absolutely would. There's no doubt about that. But do you think they would actually be do you really think they would be caring about the victim and the fact that there was someone there who could have stopped the crime but decided not to? No, they don't care. They wouldn't care about that. They would only care about the race of the victim, not, you know, In fact, they would only care about the race of the perpetrator. Actually, they only care about the race of the perpetrator, not the victim. Not the fact that someone who could easily put a stop to a threat immediately decided to chicken out. You know, but hey, that's what happens when you keep abusing the race card. You keep pulling the race card, and then people are just gonna stop are not gonna want to be associated with you altogether. If it's anything that causes the bystander effect, it's this shit. And then people wonder why they don't get help, why they don't really get any help. It's because of stuff like this. You know, false accusations, you name it. It's because of shit like this. People advocating for the protection of violent criminals. But when they're on the receiving end, then they suddenly want to play the victim. You don't get to play the victim when you're advocating for the protection of a violent criminal.
Good morning to you. Police have not identified the suspect who was killed. They've only said he was in his 30s. The shooting happened in the middle of the afternoon yesterday in a popular area full of bars and restaurants. And last night, protesters marched to the Capitol demanding justice. And we want to warn you, this video, it's hard to watch.
Easy for me to watch because
Social
I
media
really
video
don't give a
shows
shit
four
about
Madison police officers
criminals.
struggling to detain a male
like
suspect on Wednesday. One officer attempts to tase him, then another shoots him 3 times, about 2 seconds
I thought
later.
they said it was the
MPD
same
officers
cop
were
that got
dispatched to a
stabbed
call
at
just
Shoutout.
before 1 p.m. in the Marquette neighborhood for a report of a person who was allegedly checking parked vehicles.
Madison Police Chief John Patterson said the suspect fled the initial scene on a bicycle before those 4 officers re-encountered him around 1:30.
So let's get this right. He already fled the scene after getting caught doing something he shouldn't have by an individual, right? Had the cops called on him, and then fled the scene, and then decided to flee the scene probably before they even showed up, or maybe when they showed up. Who knows? Well, I think it's most likely before they showed up because they didn't catch him until around 1:30, I guess. They didn't catch him again until around 1:30, I guess. 1:30 apparently. So he flees the scene, right? You know, and then they catch him again. You know, and this time they're making sure he don't leave. He don't leave. Unfortunately, he is very persistent in refusing to take accountability for any of the shit for the shit that he was just caught doing. Because you don't just check parked cars out of nowhere. That's already mad suspicious, man. That's already mad sus. The heck? Um, and they exhausted the options they had available to them. They tried restraining him. That didn't work. They couldn't even really restrain him. He kept fighting them. And then he stabbed one of the police officers with a knife. And he was then tased. That didn't work. I'm not even sure if I should be surprised or not. I'm not even sure, honestly. Because I've seen some videos where a taser just doesn't seem to affect some people. Most commonly when folks are on drugs, that's usually, and I think he was on drugs. Doesn't really change that his actions had consequences, but it might give a little more context into why he just ate that taser. Um, but regardless, they tried tasing him. Obviously, it didn't work. Um, so then the officer decided to shoot him because he kept resisting arrest. And see, he had a knife. He stabbed an officer. That's more than enough of a reason to like double tap him. You know, you don't just stab a police officer out of nowhere, bro. That's the stupidest thing you could ever do. That's stupid. Really stupid. You wouldn't be doing that in the South. You try and stab somebody in the South like Texas or Florida, even Georgia, you're gonna get packed up real quick. Seriously, like, and we're not talking physically. You're gonna get packed up. You're gonna get packed up with a stick. You're gonna get packed up with a rifle, man. Probably, most likely, a handgun. You know, People don't ain't stupid, you know. They ain't, you know, they're not out here carrying, you know, tree branches and stuff. They're out here carrying firearms, man. You can't be doing stuff like this, officer or not. You know, whether you're, you know, your target is an officer or not, man. You don't pull a knife on an officer regardless, you know, unless there is a reason for it. And usually it's very rare for to have a reason to be pulling a knife on an officer, man. You just don't do that. You don't do that, man. And people wonder why he got packed up like this. Nah, dude. Nah. Nah. You can't call him a victim here. He's literally a perpetrator. He got handled, you know, he got handled as he should. That's it. End the story. You know, why do we need to keep explaining this stuff, man? We shouldn't have to keep explaining this stuff. But for these people, you know, you can provide them as much evidence and information, all the shit in the world, and they still gonna keep trying to push a narrative. They still gonna keep saying, "Oh, you're wrong. You're wrong." It's so pathetic, man. These people cannot accept that they're wrong every time.
And a fight ensued.
During the struggle, the man, we're told, pulled out a knife, and an officer was injured by this while attempting to arrest him. The taser was deployed.
It was 3 paysets away from being exactly where this was. Am I right?
Say it! Execute it! Say it! Is it my statement?
Also, notice how they're saying "say it," almost like they're telling her what to say, like they rehearse this. I mean, yeah, when you rehearse, you gotta rehearse things sometimes. But like, notice it sounds it sounds like they're coaching her to say this or coercing her to say this. Like, it's not like to me. It looks like she's not even saying this of her own volition. It literally looks like they're telling her what to say. And you know, this is a bad look, man. You know, if y'all cared that much about that dude, y'all would be holding him accountable for the shit that he did. Like, who knows what he did way before that? If I had to guess, this isn't his first time committing a violent crime. Usually there's never a first time with those folks. Never a first time. There's always a second, third, even beyond that. And even if it was his first time committing a violent crime, it's definitely his last. It was definitely his last. You know, this is like terrible, bro. You got people out here, again, advocating for a violent criminal that was smoked. You know, like he's some kind of victim in all this. He's not a victim, man. He's not a victim. He stabbed a police officer, you know, and kept resisting arrest. It's not even just the fact that he resisted arrest. He stabbed a police officer, man. That's one of the worst things you could possibly do. The last thing you want to do anyway. You know, I don't know why this is such a foreign concept for these people. These people act like they've never heard of violent crime before. I mean, it's like these folks love violent men or something. I mean, I've heard that some women are attracted to violent men. I've heard of like how when it comes to domestic abuse, women end up going back to abuses. I mean, and this doesn't just go for women, men. You know, same thing with men. You know, because when you're brainwashed and conditioned to like see abuse as normal, of course, there's a possibility you're going back. You know, but these folks, they seem to like violent men a lot. They really do. They really seem to like violent men a lot. It's really ridiculous. It is. Man, wow.
He was murdered.
This state-sanctioned violence was an execution.
Yeah.
I don't think they know what an execution is, honestly. I don't think they know what an execution
We
actually
no
is.
longer can have.
I live in Madison, Wisconsin, and today a black man in his 30s was tased, grounded, dominated by at least 3 police officers, and fatally shot multiple times in the head. I don't know what's going on this weekend, Madison, Wisconsin, but shut it down. Atwood Fest, shut it down. The farmers market, shut it down. People don't know which way to walk anyway. Celebrating the opening of Madison Public Market, delayed again, shut it down. Monroe Street Farmers Market, Hilldale, shut it down. I don't want to see anybody say, good morning.
Hey guys, let's all disrupt people's livelihood because we're bent about a violent criminal being triple tapped by a police officer after stabbing the police officer. Yeah, that's totally such a constructive, totally not jobless thing to do, unemployed thing to do. You know, especially with the nose ring. You know, I never like to make assumptions. I never like to make assumptions about people, especially when even if it's like I'm looking at a nose ring, someone wearing a nose ring. But like that pretty much says it all, man. Like I knew even before she started talking, I knew, especially because the nose ring was a dead giveaway. I know not all people wearing nose rings are unhinged leftist maniacs like this one, but like it's really hard to tell nowadays. It's really hard to tell. You know, but that face, man, I just cannot look at that face. And I know I probably don't look too pretty myself. I mean, I do have a lazy eye on top of it, so, you know. But I don't, you know, I, I just don't, man. This is like stupid. This is really friggin' stupid, man. This is stupid, yet it's so fucking funny. It's really funny. Like it really is, man. Let's get on with this shit, bro.
Morning, shut it down.
Boy. So we gotta
Hey,
talk about
what's
Black
good,
Lives Matter.
man?
Apparently they are back and protesting out in the streets of Madison,
Back in
Wisconsin,
black,
because you
100%.
had a man who decided it'd be a good idea to pull out a large knife on police while they're trying to get him to comply. He refused to comply. An officer ends up getting injured as a result of the knife, and the man gets shot, right, and killed. Okay, he finds out. I don't know why this is controversial, but apparently it is controversial, okay, because protests are erupting. People think that somehow, some way that
My thing is, when did holding violent criminals suddenly become controversial? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, I thought it was normal to hold violent criminals accountable, regardless of what their race is. Like, but but for some reason there are people out there who think that violent criminals who are black for some reason should not be held accountable for the shit that they do. I mean, same with Muslim sympathizers, like, or same with Islam sympathizers. Like, I don't understand how you could look at someone committing a violent crime or just being outright evil and try to defend that person. Like, they're acting like these folks are acting like that dude was their kid or something. Like, what the heck, man? Like, wow. Like, how? Why are we? Why are we? Why are we? Why are we doing this? Why? Why, bro? Why? Why are we doing this? This is the stupidest shit I've ever seen, bro. Like, and I thought the George Floyd shit was bad. Like, what the heck, man? Bunch of folks like destroying everything all because a black man died. Jeez, they acting like Martin Luther King got murdered again. The heck? That man, I know he is rolling over in his grave seeing this shit, bro. Like, what the heck, dude? This is whack. This is insane. Wow. This is really insane. I've seen a lot of stereotypes here be held true to life, especially about leftists. I'm seeing a lot of stereotypes, man. Not that I ever doubted them, to be honest. This is some whack stuff, man.
The cops were unjustified in defending themselves from some lunatic with a knife. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this.
New this morning, the police shooting death of a man in Madison, Wisconsin leads to huge protests throughout that city. That shooting was actually caught on camera by drivers, and it took place 2 miles from the state capitol. State officials are now investigating and calling for calm in the streets. Nick joins me now with what more we know about this incident. So, Nick, walk us through exactly what happened there.
Marky, there are a number of videos on social media that have only helped to fan the flames, but I can tell you this began on Wednesday afternoon with a call about a person attempting to enter parked cars in downtown Madison. When police arrived at the scene, that man in his 30s took off on a bike. Police caught up with him and tried to stop him, and that's when Madison Police Chief says that the man either fell or was taken off his bike by police. And then there was a scuffle on the ground, and officers say their suspect pulled out a large knife. Now, Madison police did release a picture of that knife to the public, and the chief says a taser was used in an attempt to subdue their suspect, but that was not successful. Police.
Wow.
Okay. So, for reference, this, of course, is a knife. You see this? This is a knife. Folding, I think. Folding. Okay? And don't worry, YouTube. This is a legal utility knife. Very completely legal. You know, seriously. Come on. I don't need y'all breathing down the back of my neck for showing a knife in a video. All right, come on. You know, but yeah, this is a knife. Okay, for reference. Obviously, that's a knife right there. You know, right on the screen. You know, right here is a knife. And that looks like a big one, dude. It looks like a kitchen knife. It looks like one. I think that's a kitchen knife. Okay, so from what I'm understanding, this guy is going around carrying a kitchen knife. Now, I'm not exactly sure what the laws are, how the knife laws and well, I'm not sure how the knife laws in that state work. But I would imagine that, you know, you know what? The knife laws aren't even relevant at this point. If they are, then you know he would have ended up being charged with just more than just attempted murder anyway. But notice how he had a knife. There was a knife at the scene, right? Now, I don't see any blood on it, but it could be because the officer was wearing a vest, because I think they wear like vests that are stab proof or something. I think they do, because they do have stab proof, knife proof vests. But they say that the officer was injured. You know, so I don't know, but regardless, dude had a knife and he stabbed the police officer. Now, what do you think is gonna happen? You think the police officer is just gonna give him a kiss? Is just gonna give him a kiss and a hug and say, "Hey, you're forgiven, man. I forgive you. Let's be friends." No, you're gonna get shot for that kind of thing. I mean, seriously. We don't live in the GTA. We don't live in Grand Theft Auto in the Grand Theft Auto universe where you go to do something bad and you can easily get away with it. Well, we kind of do live in that kind of reality, but not Hollywood style, bro. Nah, you ain't getting off the book like that. You know, and this is absurd, man. Like I said, this is a knife. You know, if I went out there with this, if I went out there, oh, jeez. If I went out there with this and approached someone and stabbed someone to death and try to stab someone, I'd probably get killed. I'd most likely get killed. Either by an officer or at least do what he did, I'd probably get killed either by an armed citizen or an officer. Now, because I'm in Connecticut, which is a state run by Democrats, of course, your firearm options are limited because Democrats hate law abiding citizens having access to firearms because it means that their agenda basically gets pushed back really, really easily. You know, you know, if you want to control citizens, you disarm them. It's very obvious. It's very obvious. But, even then, the only reason you'd be carrying a knife around a knife like that is to stab somebody with it. You know, I mean, come on, man. This don't take rocket science to figure out. Like that's a big knife. Now it could just be my perception of it, but that looks big. Like it looks like a kitchen knife. I mean, there's larger knives than that, but like it literally looks like a kitchen knife. I mean, it could be bigger than that. I don't really know because I wasn't there. I'm just looking at a picture of it from an angle. So I don't know how big that thing actually is. But again, he used that and stabbed a police officer apparently. So of course he was going to get shot. And they even tased him before resorting to using a firearm. So I don't understand what the big issue is. Like, really? I mean, it's very clear, very obvious that if, well, he wasn't shot, he would have ended up murdering someone, possibly one of those police officers. And when one of those police officers dies, then what? Oh yeah, we're gonna get crickets because the Black Lives Matter roaches are gonna turn a blind eye and be like, well, I mean, he was black, so obviously he had a reason to do it. You know, no, man, nope, 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 nope. They took care. There was an imminent threat, and one of the officers took care of that threat, and now the threat is no longer imminent. It's gone. It's vaporized. It's disembodied. You know. And I'm sorry if I sound cold and callous, but like, come on, bro. We're in 2026. We should already know by now that you don't go around committing violent crimes. Like you don't go around doing shit like that. And especially you shouldn't be stabbing police officers, in a resisting arrest. If you genuinely believe that you are being arrested for if you are being like falsely accused of a crime and being falsely, or you're being placed under false arrest or something like that, whatever they call it, then you fight that shit in court, man. You don't go around, you don't stab the officers because that's just gonna make things worse. Like, seriously, man, this dude lost his life for nothing. Nothing. And people are mad about it. I'm more mad that he basically got himself killed for no reason at all. Like, in fact, I'm more mad that people are treating the officers like they're cold-blooded murderers when all they did was, well, remove an imminent threat. Seriously. If this man, you know what? I'm tired of making examples because, like, no matter how many examples that are provided, man, to these folks, they still find a way to try to justify shit like this. It's ridiculous. They still try to find a way to justify their bullshit, their bullshit support. They still try to find a way to justify, their support of violent crime. It's absolutely disgraceful, man. This is not supposed to be. This is not what my country is supposed to be, man. Like, this is ridiculous. Absolutely absurd.
Are these people evolving, right? Are criminals evolving to
No,
be
they're
immune from
getting
tasers? Now,
worse.
I've never been tased, so I don't know. Okay, but you would think the point of using a taser is to get somebody to comply, to be able to subdue them, right? To get them on the ground, to get them to stop resisting. And I've covered so many stories lately where they're using tasers and the tasers are just completely ineffective, right? Have these criminals evolved to not be affected by tasers, right? You know how Pokemon evolve and, sometimes they get a new type and then all of a sudden, like the attacks that used to work against them aren't effective anymore, right? I feel like that's what I'm watching when it comes to these criminals. They're evolving like Pokemon, right? And they're getting new types, and the tasers don't work on the new types of criminals out here, right? That's what's happening. It's kind of wild. It's kind of wild because the first thing the activists say, well, why did they use a taser? Well, apparently in 2026, the criminals have evolved to be immune from tasers, right? That's what's happening.
They say the officer who fired the 3 shots killing the man was hurt by the knife, but didn't specify those injuries.
I will say that I'm aware of cell phone video that has been shared and circulated online.
That's what I'm trying to figure out. Why does he need to?
Depicting this incident, I ask the community recognize that there is other video that they have not seen, that's not circulating online, that will be reviewed as a part of this investigation. So.
Now, right now, I want to play for you one of those videos leading up to the moment that those shots have been fired. Now, we have stopped the video, but I do want to warn you that it may be hard to listen to.
It ain't that big of a deal, man. People just be overreacting to everything. Oh, here we go again.
Now, speakers at the protest and videos on social media
have... Here we go again. It's another... it reminds me of that time when an ICE agent killed Renee Good. And there was this woman, this fucking leftist, like, screaming, no! And it's like, come on, man. Really? What did you think was going to happen? It's like, come on. Don't act so concerned when y'all out there causing a bunch of trouble. Like... It's so ridiculous how people have these friggin' reactions, like they don't know, they don't know, what was gonna happen. It's so stupid, man. Like, yeah, I don't think you'd expect a police officer to fire at somebody, but then again, when you see shit like this happening, what do you think's gonna happen? What do you think the officers are gonna do? Clearly, this dude is a danger, and he had to be taken out. I mean, because he would have stabbed them police officers to death either way. And then he would have just ended up going on a rampage, stabbing more people to death. Really? It's not that complicated, man. It's really easy to understand. You take out a threat before it takes you out. That easy of a concept. Very easy. It's like adding 2 and 2. Very easy concept. 2 plus 2, 4. Very easy. Like, come on, man. What is we doing? What are we doing, bro? This is 2026, and we still have this shit, bro. And we still have this shit happening, bro. 2026. And we still got folks protecting criminals, dude. This is ridiculous. I would expect this shit from a lawyer. I would expect a lawyer to protect a criminal, but like people who should have common sense, no, bro. What is you doing? Good Lord. I tell you, man. I don't know what the fuck happened, what went wrong, but damn, shit hit the fan real quick. Like, when you a kid, you don't expect shit like this to just fucking happen, bro. Years down the line. But when you become an adult, bro, this shit hit different. It's like your entire childhood was fucking crushed, bro. Like, I seen Blade, the Blade movie, first one. And I seen how depressing the world was in that movie. With vampires living underground, with vampires being in the dark and shit, and just like snatching people up and eating them, feeding on them like they cows or something, But seeing this shit, bro, it's like we in Blade, except we ain't dealing with vampires. We dealing with maniacs, bro. We dealing with maniacs. Straight up bloodthirsty maniacs who don't even feed on blood. They just leech off of the system and off of taxpayer money. And demand reparations on top of that for shit that they never been victims of. Shit they ain't claim. You know, it is so crazy how it is so crazy, bro, what the world has turned into. Like, I would have expected this shit to happen like the 1940s, and even then, bro, like, shit wasn't this crazy. Like, we got this shit now. Bro, this is fucking bonkers. This is bonkers, man.
Identified the man, but police have not officially released the man's identity or his race. The
Of
same
course
for the
they
officer
didn't.
who fired his weapon. Now, advocacy groups in Madison accused the Madison police of excessive force. Officials say they are in touch with the man's family. The 4 officers involved are on.
Man, bump his family, bro. Like, and bump these activists. I don't get it. How can you like speak for a violent criminal, bro? That makes no sense. That makes no sense. Like, really? Are we really doing this, man? We really doing this? This is what we doing in 2026, bro? This is what we doing. Come on, bro. I know this shit been happening for years where people would simp for violent criminals, bro. But like this, bro, this is widespread now. Like, I know there were girls, like teens, that for some reason had a weird infatuation, like a sick infatuation for folks like Ted Bundy, bro. But this is like on another level. Like, they mad simping for a friggin' criminal, bro. They mad simps. Like, this is crazy, bro. He not gonna dick y'all down, dude. What the heck? He not gonna let y'all crack? Come on, man. Stop simping for violent criminals, bro. They ain't letting you crack. They ain't letting you hit. Nah, bro. This is embarrassing, bro. This is the exact reason why people think our country is a laughingstock, bro. This is the exact reason why we a laughingstock to folks, to other countries, bro, because of this shit right here. Like, this is like a true clown world, bro, we living in. This is a clown world, bro.
Leave. The Madison Police Department does not wear body cameras. Today, Marquis City and police officials are holding public meetings to speak with the community members in hopes of calming the tension in the community.
Yeah, we'll keep our eye on the protest there, Nick.
People.
Thank you
These
for the
people
latest.
Are mindless,
amazing, absolutely amazing.
Mindless.
So I'm going to play
roaches.
some clips of the protest, right, and some more footage.
You know,
of
that's
what
an
happened.
insult to roaches.
And you guys can make up your mind in regards to
they
whether
have
or not
a reason
you believe that this
for
was
being
justified
obnoxious.
based off the facts that we have right now.
These people are stupid, bro.
During the struggle, the man.
I'm all the way in Connecticut and I already want to run those people
out a
over
knife
with a
or
car, bro. And I
produced
don't
a
even
knife,
have a license.
fixed-blade knife, and an officer was injured by this while attempting to arrest him. A less lethal device, a taser, was deployed. Unfortunately, it was unsuccessful. The officer who was injured by the knife is the same officer who fired his weapon at this man.
Man, the lost his life for none. Oh yeah, look at the New York Times, bro. Yup. Look at
I
him.
will say that I'm aware of cell phone video that has been shared and circulated online.
Pushing a narrative. I knew
depicting
it.
this incident.
I just noticed that too.
The community recognize that there is other video that they have not seen, that's not circulating online, that will be reviewed as a part of this investigation.
We need to talk about this one. I have
Oh,
watched
no,
the
we don't.
Madison, Wisconsin officer-involved shooting several times now from several angles. And this undoubtedly demands a thorough, independent investigation. I'm going to put this video here, but viewer discretion advised.
The only thing I see was a violent criminal being eviscerated. No, that's not the right word. The only thing I seen was a violent criminal being annihilated.
Says deadly force is to be used at the last resort. It says officers must reasonably believe there's an imminent threat of death or great bodily harm. And it defines imminent as an immediate threat. In this video, you see 4 officers struggling with one man. He comes up to his knees. You hear one officer yell, "Taser, taser," and you hear the taser deploy. And then within seconds, 3 rounds are shot. Not 1, not 2. 3 rounds are shot at point blank range. Police have said that the man had a fixed blade object and that one officer, the one who shot, was cut. I haven't seen a blade in this video or any of the videos that I've watched. That doesn't mean he didn't have it. That just means I didn't see it. But even if that's true, investigators need to tell us exactly what happened, where the knife was at the moment those shots were fired, whether or not that taser was effective in the 2 seconds before they actually shot, and what exactly made this threat so imminent that deadly force became necessary instantly after deploying that taser.
He had
These
a knife,
aren't anti-police questions.
Those
are the exact questions that
right
Madison's own policy requires us to ask. Accountability has to follow for this. You don't strengthen public trust by demanding blind faith. This demands transparency. And right.
Yeah, and you sure as heck don't just let an armed criminal you sure as heck don't let an armed criminal slide for stabbing you. Like, really? He could have murdered that police officer, bro. Is this what we really doing? We really doing this now? We just protecting criminals, bro? Shoot, we might as well start protecting rapists and pedophiles then. Oh, but wait. But that wouldn't be good. But that's only because it doesn't fit their narrative, of course. Anybody that's part of the narrative, it don't matter if they a pedophile or, the next friggin' Jeffrey Dahmer, bro. They don't care. They an ally. You an ally to they an ally to them. Bro, I can never understand how people just sit here and defend this shit. Look, I've said that a million times now, but I'll say it as many times as need be. Like, I can never understand this shit, bro. That brother trucker was a violent criminal, and you mean to tell me that he's somehow innocent? Like, what? I don't get that, man. I really don't. Like, this is the stupidest shit ever. This is really stupid, bro. This is really stupid.
Right now, this case is raising more questions than answers. Complete, independent investigation.
Let us each be a ship to liberation. Come on.
There ain't no liberation. Shut up.
Hear me? Is y'all here with me?
No.
I don't think people who resist arrest deserve to be shot in the head by the police. Oh, he was resisting arrest. Okay. Hell, I don't think anybody just holding a knife deserves to be shot in the head by the police.
No,
if you ranked American police spending against every other military.
Stop talking, you stupid broad. Stop talking. Okay, first of all, yes, he was resisting arrest. Except there's one little thing. One, he was caught doing something he shouldn't have been doing, so he was under suspicion of attempting to commit a crime, and on top of it, he decided to pull a knife on a police officer and stab the police officer. Okay, holding a knife. If I'm not mistaken, I just seen a video, one of Colby and I'm shorts, talking about this situation where this guy who was armed with the knife came in all bloodied up or something to a bar or something, and he was slowly walking towards someone with a knife, and he was all bloody. So the guy he was approaching, pulled out his handgun and told him to stop. He gave him a warning. Okay, he gave him a warning. The guy still kept approaching him like he was Michael Myers, bro. I don't think I've ever heard someone even say. I don't think I've ever heard someone say that a man with the knife was approaching someone else like Michael Myers, bro. Like that shit is scary. Cause if you watch Halloween movies, you know how diabolical that Michael Myers is. Like he is like Black Air Force energy, bro. He aura farms. That's all he does. Even when he's walking, man. Like he just aura farms. He freaking teleports, bro. He doesn't die. Like he is just a cheat code, bro. He is the ultimate cheat code. He is the ultimate hacker. You know he's a hacker, man. So the thought of being in a bar and seeing this dude with blood all over him slowly approaching me with a knife like he's Michael Myers, bro. Nah, dude, he gotta go. He gotta die. We way past giving a warning. I already immediately know he about to be a menace. I already know he gotta be destroyed. Nah, bro. That's like terror walking towards you, bro. Nope. I ain't trying to go out here like that. I ain't trying to go out like that. Nah, he gonna die. That is that simple. Now, with that being said, when someone is approaching you with a knife, I think you would want to do something about it. And, giving them more than one warning ain't gonna do much. Using a taser probably ain't gonna do nothing. Because some people just really like built different. I mean, and not just built different. Some people be on drugs. Some folks is just so fat that the taser don't even affect them. Like there's a whole variety of different reasons a taser might not affect someone. However, let's not pretend that this was a case of police officers shooting a man just to do it. Nah, bro, they done exhausted every option they had, which was not many. And so, one of them used a firearm. It's that simple. I don't know why it's so hard for y'all to understand that. But then again, y'all don't even know the different biological difference between a man and a woman. So I wouldn't expect any of y'all to comprehend what I just said. I wouldn't expect y'all to know anything about reality other than your twisted version of reality. And we know what that shit is. Nah, bro. This is wild. They wildin' for this. They wildin'. I bet you if the man stabbed your mom, you would be all up in arms about it. You would be bent about it. But no, because it's not you or anyone you know that was stabbed. Of course, you're not gonna care. You just gonna sit behind that. You just gonna sit on TikTok talking all that hot shit until and getting ratioed, and then trying to act like what you said wasn't controversial. Well, rather, what you said wasn't stupid. Too many stupid people, bro, on the internet nowadays. Way too many stupid people, man. This is absurd. This is really absurd, bro. I don't know what happened to humanity, bro, but this is a trip. This is a trip if I ever seen one, man. And then you got dumb broads like this thing on here acting like being a violent criminal isn't enough and attacking an innocent person isn't enough of a reason to drop you. Nah, bro. You even try to stab me, I'm dropping your ass. Because I got a knife too, so I don't got to worry about none. I don't got to worry about none. I think I do. I think I should get tactical training though, just in case. So that way I don't get caught. I don't get caught like that. But still, bro, when you've exhausted every option possible, What you think gonna be the last resort? Shooting somebody. You might as well tell families that they can't protect themselves and other innocent folks. You know, when a criminal breaks into their goddamn home at this point. Like, nah, bro. Nah. We not playing this game. We is not playing this game. You stab a police officer for no friggin' reason, bro. You get shot, bro. That's it. That is it. Y'all folks play too much, man. Y'all folks play too much. You know, and if you try doing that to a SWAT team, they would just drop your ass immediately. They ain't talking to you. Well, I guess it depends on the situation, but still, they gonna give you warnings, bro. But after a few warnings, you gonna get shot. You're not gonna get tased. You gonna get shot. You know, this is getting ridiculous, man. I swear. I don't understand. I just don't understand, bro. Like, this is wild. Bro, what happened the past few years, man? First DEI and now this? Well, it was way worse shit than that, but, like, still, bro. First DEI and now this? This is getting out of hand, man. Out of hand. Way out of hand.
In the world, American police spending would rank in the top 5. We can't use that money to come up with any other way to subdue somebody?
No. What you want them to use? Tranquilizer darts? Come on, bro. You're not making no goddamn sense. What else you want them to do? You want them to tickle their feet or something? Come on, man. You got any better ideas? Cause I know goddamn well you don't. Hugs and holding hands is not going to stop a violent criminal from doing bad things, bro. That's not how shit works. That is not how shit works. The only way you stopping a violent criminal is harming them or putting them down. Those are the only ways you stopping a violent criminal. And even then, hurting them is not going to do nothing, because if they on drugs, you cooked. You just pissing them off. Nah, you just put them down, bro. That's the only way you doing. That's the only way this is gonna work. Unless that criminal knows he's cooked, he or she is cooked, and surrenders, bro. You don't surrender and you stab a police officer instead. That's on you. That's on you. Of course you gonna die. The heck? And there ain't no respawn button, bro. Like, come on. Really? Out of all the dumb ways a human could die, you choose to die on this hill as one of the... you choose to defend this way to die, bro? This is the craziest hill to die on, man. Like, this is an insane hill, bro. This woman is climbing Mount Everest to defend this man, to defend that dude. Like, what the heck, bro? He don't love you. He ain't thinking about you. He was thinking about murdering a police officer, bro. He ain't thinking about you. He ain't gonna hit you. He not gonna hit. He not gonna let you ride. What the heck is good with you? I don't know what is wrong with y'all, but and y'all wonder why y'all be getting y'all ass beat so much, bro. This is like top tier stupidity, bro. It's like top tier stupidity. Like, come on, man. You would not be saying that if he was doing it to you. Like, I just can't understand this shit, bro. This should be such a simple concept. And yet these people just don't comprehend it at all. Like, it's like they're allergic to common sense, man. I mean, I have no doubt that they are, really. But I'm trying to just believe that they're just ignorant and need some education. But at this point, I think they're beyond education. They're beyond ignorant. They're just like, they are just stupid, man. They are really just stupid.
Also, people who come out of the fucking sewers to say, oh, he was resisting arrest are so full of shit.
Most people, I'm pretty sure, aren't talking about him resisting arrest. Most people aren't pointing out the fact that he resisted arrest. Most people are pointing out the fact that he had a knife, he took out his knife, and he decided to stab an officer with it. Really? Really? Of course people gonna come, of course people gonna ratio you. Of course people gonna roast you for being dumb. What you think gonna happen when you say stupid shit like this on the internet? You deserve it. You deserve to be roasted and ratioed. Because you seem to not understand a word you were talking about. You don't know what you're talking about, lady. Come on, man. Just get off of TikTok. Get off of social media. Delete all your social media and just and touch grass, please. Cause like at this point, you know you haven't touched grass. You know you haven't touched grass. You know you haven't touched grass, man. Like this is ridiculous, bro. This is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous. The big ass eyebrows. I can't believe this, man. I cannot believe this. Cannot believe this. That Fiona ass haircut from Shrek. I can't, bro. I can't take these folks seriously, bro. I can't, man. I can't. You can't be this stupid, bro. You can't be this stupid. You can't be this stupid, man. This is like top tier stupidity, bro. And this isn't even the kind where we could say, oh, well, we all get stupid. We all do stupid things when it's wild. No, this is the part where a lot of us may be stupid, but we don't do stupid shit like this. We certainly don't say stupid shit like that. This is not relatable stupidity, bro. This is not relatable at all. This is just, you know what? At this point, this is just pure ignorance, man. This is just pure ignorance.
Cops in America kill people in every single setting they're in.
And so do criminals. But you're not talking about that, though. You're not talking about that. You're just focusing on the police officers. You're focusing on the bad apples. You're focusing on the police officers. Even then, they're not bad apples. Whether you like it or not, the man was immediate threat. He was dealt with accordingly. You don't like it, you can always go somewhere else. You can always go to another country where police officers will kill you for less in those countries. You can always go there. In fact, you could go right to the UK where the British police officers will arrest you for just about anything, probably even kill you if they could get away with it.
They'll kill you if you are resisting. They'll kill you if you aren't resisting. They'll kill you with your hands up. They'll kill you with your hands behind your back. They'll kill you if you're driving away. They'll kill you if you're trying to stop. It doesn't fucking matter. And people know that. People just love the taste of leather.
Oh yeah.
So
okay. So this is what we do. This is how we doing. Okay. Woman. You stupid woman. First and foremost, yes, there are times where police officers do kill people, especially innocent people, okay? Except it is not that goddamn common for an innocent person to die by the hands of a police officer with malicious intent, bro. You acting like every police officer out there is murdering innocent people, is murdering people, bro. Like, come on, what is you talk about? And on top of it, like, you trying to tell us we like the taste of leather? Maybe we do. Maybe we do, but we're not bootlickers. If I could get a leather jacket, I would. Nah. We just like the taste of reality, bro. That's it. We realists. We keep shit real. We don't midgetate reality or completely ignore it to make y'all feel better. Absolutely not. We don't give a shit about y'all feelings, bro. The only reason you saying this is because you mad, is because, you going with the crowd. Oh, an officer murdered an innocent black man who was really an armed criminal, but he's still innocent. Come on, you only parroting what you hear. You stupid. You a stupid ass broad. Come on. Come on, you know you stupid. Girl, I would advise you to delete that video and never post on TikTok again. Like, cause you beyond stupid at this point. You just, like I said, you ignorant. You don't even know a word you talk about. You don't know anything what you talk about. You just go with the most popular shit. Looking like Justin Bieber with a wig on. No disrespect to Justin Bieber, bro. I didn't mean for you to catch a stray like that, but I'm sorry. I couldn't, bro. I had to, you know, I had to, like, and that's really the least, that's really the nicest thing, you know, uh, that's really the least inflammatory thing I could say. That's really me being nice, because I could easily just start ripping. I could easily start ripping. I could easily start ripping, bro. I told y'all, mask off today, bro. I'm still trying to play nice, though. Still trying to play nice. You know? Because I ain't trying to be like these demons.
People know that. People just love the taste of leather.
And you love the
Yeah.
taste of
So you
dick.
see that you heard
But
that.
you don't hear nobody
You
else
have a bunch of
complaining.
black activists, plus size individuals, and unfortunate looking white liberals.
Yep.
Very
Yep.
upset with what happened in this situation, right? Apparently, the man's name was.
Yep. Unfortunate white liberals. The pale skinned liberals, boys. Yep. Yep. Pale skinned liberals. Pale skinned liberals, the liberal niggas. Yep. It's always the liberals that gotta be doing this shit, bro. It's always the left, bro. And they have a nerve to be talking shit about the right, bro. I don't understand that. The left is the one causing the most damn problems, bro. Like, I don't see the right causing too many problems, bro. Like, what's going on here, man? I mean, I know both sides for some reason support. I know both Republicans and Democrats both for some reason support age verification. Not all of them, but a majority of them do. But like, still, bro, like folks out here just like shit talking, shit talking the right. You know, like the left ain't the one causing, like the left ain't causing the most problems, bro. So fucking crazy. It is crazy. And I know I'm going to get heat for this too, but I do not give a shit, bro. I said what I said. I don't care, bro. I don't care. It ain't no amount of leftist copium gonna make me change my mind or make me delete my video, bro. Ain't no amount of leftist copium gonna change my mind, bro. Cope. That's all I can tell you. Be mad. Be offended. Like, seriously, man. Insecurity issues on top of insecurity issues on top of fucking ignorance. I smell a lot of it, bro. And I know it's not me.
Was Corey Ruiz, and he was a black man. Now, I can't really tell from the video whether or not he's black, but I mean, I can imagine, if he was white, nobody would give a damn,
He
right? So I'm
probably
assuming that,
is.
again, at the very least, he's not white, which is why you
It'd be
have
a funny
these
twist if he
protests.
was
Okay,
white,
now,
though.
there are black people, so-called people of color, killed every single day in some of these, colored communities, right, so to speak, and nobody gives a damn. Now you have this individual who
Trigger warning, blah, 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 blah. We have witnessed black life after black life stolen before our eyes. And we are exhausted. Good lord, man. This is the funniest, this is the most pathetic attempt at virtue signaling I've ever seen, bro. And I, and like, and Twitter is a thing. Like, and there's leftists on Twitter, bro. This is some virtue signaling if I ever seen it. We refuse to become numb. We refuse to scroll past another black person killed in broad daylight. Defund the police. Say his name. You know what? I'm so tired of hearing this BS. Screw him and screw anybody that advocates for him. He was a criminal, a violent criminal that stabbed a police officer, bro. It ain't like he had a good reason to do it. Nope. He just stabbed a police officer just cause. And he was resisting arrest. It's not like he was just caught it's not like he was just caught being black. Just walking down the street and got bullied by police officers, bro. Come on, man. Y'all focus on y'all focus on the criminals, bro. Y'all never focus on innocent folks. I noticed that. These folks be focusing on black criminals. They never focus on innocent black people. That's the funny part. I mean, they should be focusing on everyone, not just innocent black people. But like these folks, they only focus on black criminals. Violent criminals, bro. Like, how stupid and hypocritical can you be, man? This is some pathetic shit, bro. Like I said before, Martin Luther King is rolling in his grave right now seeing this. This man did not die for this at all. He did not die. He did not die for this, man.
In my opinion, kind of seems like we have another situation where you may have a little Darwinism going on here, right? Where you are trying to escape police, you're trying to run away. Mistake number one. Two, you get caught, right? And after you get caught, you resist arrest, which is mistake number two. Mistake number three, you have a knife on you while resisting arrest. Apparently, that knife injured one of the officers. Again, which, would also be a mistake. And he had plenty of time to comply, right? I'm trying to figure out exactly, what else were police supposed to do in that situation? Wait to be stabbed?
There's
Right?
nothing
Wait
else
to
they could
potentially
do.
lose their life because a knife is a deadly weapon. I don't know what
Yes.
liberals don't understand about the fact that police don't have to wait until they're killed, right?
Well, here's the thing. Liberals will get mad at you for just about anything. What's funny is all these anti-gun folks, Moms Demand Action, Governor Lamont, you name it, all these folks focus on, firearms like they're the most dangerous things in the world. But like you got folks out here with knives and shit stabbing folks. And it's not even about the knives, bro. It's about the fact that you have deranged individuals who know nothing about how firearms work, let alone uh about the Constitution, trying to tell law abiding citizens how they can protect themselves and what they can have and what they can't have. Like they're God or something, bro. Last time I checked, there's just God and his son. That's about it, bro. And even then, man, like, you know, the Constitution is literally written the way it is. You don't mess with it because it hurts your feelings. Or you're too lazy and stupid and ignorant to come up with the proper solution to things like shootings. You know, you find a better way, you find a good solution, one that actually benefits everyone, and is actually effective. You don't slap a band-aid on it and hope it doesn't peel off. Because that's not really solving the problem. But we know they're doing that shit on purpose. Because they hate being wrong. They want to prove themselves right. And they know that's not gonna happen. Yet they still want to make it happen. That's the problem. They can't accept that they're wrong. Regardless, again, when you pull a knife on a police officer and you stab that police officer, what do you think's gonna happen? What do you think's gonna happen? You're gonna get shot. And you're probably gonna die. I mean, you could have easily just dropped the knife and, surrendered and complied. It's that easy. It's that easy. But nope. This guy, he decided that his life that losing his life was worth it. He decided that stabbing a police officer was worth losing his life, bro. I never understand that kind of stuff. When you know that something is going to cause your life to be lost, and you know it's stupid, you really, really shouldn't do it. You really shouldn't do it. Because why would you want to lose your life to something so goddamn stupid? This should be This should be in a Thousand Ways to Die episode by itself. This should be in a Thousand Ways to Die episode, bro. Because this is some A Thousand Ways to Die shit, bro. Stab a police officer, get shot 3 times and die. I mean, it would be probably the funniest. It would be probably the funniest episode. So it would probably be the funniest episode by far. Be a great concept too. Teach people not to be stupid, but we know stupid people. We know those ignorant folks ain't gonna learn a damn thing from it. Nope, they either too far gone or they just really, really, really don't care. I guess it's the same thing at this point, honestly.
Before they can respond to a deadly threat, right? They don't have to actively be stabbed in order to respond, right? Exactly. It's the same thing with Alex Preddy. Alex Preddy was resisting arrest while armed. I'm not saying that he can't be armed. I'm not saying that he doesn't have the right to carry a gun. I'm not even saying he doesn't have the right to confront police while armed. What I am saying is that if you want to keep your life, if you don't want to lose your life, it's probably not a good idea to do that. Right? That's what I'm saying. Because at that point,
just don't resist
deadly
arrest,
force
bro.
can be justified if you happen to be detained or arrested, and then you start resisting arrest, right? While armed, whether it be with a knife, whether it be with a gun. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. I mean, this is just common sense.
Yes,
but again, it seems like liberal ideology, progressive ideology revolves around absolving people of the consequences of lacking common sense, right? You guys notice that when it comes to almost anything, almost every liberal or progressive policy, everything that they want is really just them not wanting to suffer the consequences of their actions, right? They want to just do whatever they want to do with no consequences, right? Like, for example, something like student loan debt forgiveness, right? So they make the bad decision to go to school and to pay for an expensive degree and to get themselves in a ton of debt in order to get a degree in underwater basket weaving, gender studies. That's what they pay for. And then they get mad because they only can get a job that pays them $25,000 a year despite paying $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 for a degree. Well, you made a bad choice. You made a bad decision, a bad financial decision. As a society, we shouldn't have to pay for that, right? You have to suffer the consequences of that, right? They want you to pay for their health care because they're obese, right? They don't want to take care of themselves, right? They don't want to live healthy lifestyles. So they want you to pay for their medical expenses.
Exactly.
Right? They want everybody to pay for their bad decisions. That is essentially every liberal policy, right? That is the crux of Marxist and communist socialist ideology, right?
Exactly. It's literally what's yours is mine mentality. It's whatever is yours is mine thing. That's literally what it is. Hey, this water is your water is now my water. Hold the fuck up, bro. Back the fuck up. You skipped a few chapters there. You lost when you said my water is your water. This is my water. What you gonna do? What you don't gonna do if I don't give it to you? It's literally it's gotten to that point where anything that you have is somehow belongs to someone else. Like you can't even have anything in your own house without someone trying to break into it and take it, bro. And then people have the nerve to get mad at you when you kill the criminal, or the criminal somehow is held accountable for his or her actions. Like, come on, man. What you think we is? We're the United States of America, bro. We're not North Korea. We not Iran. We not Afghanistan, and we certainly not Pakistan, and we definitely not the United Kingdom or Canada. We are the United States of America, bro. Come on, man. Y'all gotta stop with that communism and socialism shit. Nah, bro, cause that ain't supposed to be in this country. That is not supposed to be anywhere near our country, bro. Nope. We don't want that shit in here. Leave it at the door.
in this situation right here, this guy made a bunch of bad decisions. He had
Yes.
plenty of time to save his own life. Because all he had to do is just not run away from police.
Exactly.
Why is he running away? If he isn't doing anything wrong, why is he running away?
Exactly.
And then you get caught and you resist arrest. Not only are you resisting, but you're resisting while armed. If I'm armed and, you know, police are actively trying to arrest me, I'm going to go down immediately, right? I'm going to present myself as a non-threat as fast as possible because I know that any type of resistance while being armed, whether it be with a knife or a gun, now becomes a situation where a police officer can perceive, legally speaking, right? And justifiably, they could perceive themselves to be under a deadly threat, right?
Exactly.
Regardless of my intent. I may not never intend to actually use the knife or to actually use the gun against police, but the fact that I am resisting while armed
makes
presents
it seem
a threat to police. They don't know that.
It makes it
Again,
seem seem like you're trying to attack them.
Common sense stuff. But again, you know, ultimately, man, like if they want to defund police, right? If they want to abolish the police, if they want to, you know,
and we know what happens after that. We know how well that
not wanting to face consequences for their actions. Cool, go for it. Madison, Wisconsin, go ahead and do that, right? Y'all do that, right? Let's see how that works out for everyday people there, right? If you defund the police, if you do what these people are calling for, right? Which is what Black Lives Matter is calling for, right? They put this out, defund the police, right? Okay, y'all do that.
You know, I specifically remember that one time where where Black Lives Matter or Black folks in a specific area, I forgot where it was. They started to defund the police movement, right? So when police officers didn't come, you know, they weren't available to help come to the neighborhood to, you know, fight crime and stuff, obviously, and apprehend criminals. You know what I mean? The same folks, they was like, well, where the police at? This is ridiculous. There should be police officers. They were basically complaining about the lack of police response to you know, crime in that same area. It was one of the funniest things I've ever seen, man. It was one of the funniest cases of irony I've ever seen. I cackled like a supervillain seeing that shit. That was funny. It was that funny, man. The irony. You don't want the police officer. You didn't want the police officers before, but now you suddenly need them. It was just, I cackled like a supervillain seeing that shit unfold. I cackled. That was funny. Defund the police, and then when the police, you know, don't show up when you call emergency services, then you want to start complaining that no police officers are showing up, you know, and then still accuse them just about everything under the sun. It's like, nah. If you want to defund the police, you do not get to complain when police officers don't respond to a police call in your area. You don't get to complain. Nope. You didn't want the police officers before. Why do you want them now? Oh yeah, it's because the consequences of your actions hit you like a brick wall, or like a moving brick wall. Unfortunately, that's definitely not enough at this point. At that point, you need a little bit more. You need a little more time to think about what you did.
Y'all do that. I'm tired of trying to tell these liberals, you know, hey, these policies are not good for you. Sometimes they just got to experience it. They just got to go through it. So yeah, go ahead. Y'all go ahead and defund the police. Let me know how that works out.
They got to learn the hard way.
Years. I will be making plenty of videos about the crime and the chaos as a result of these stupid policies.
I'm looking forward to it.
I need a good
make sure
I cover it so that, you know, other places
I'm looking forward
understand
to that
what
shit.
happened when you get on board with this far left nonsense.
Yep.
Defending criminals. Defending people who are not very smart.
Exactly.
I mean, we can't do that. As a society, people who are not very smart, who do stuff like this, at the end of the day, you know, if things happen as a result of their lack of intelligence, it is what it is.
Exactly.
It's sad. Man. It's tragic, I guess. I mean, again, you know, I don't know if he was a bad person. But what I do know is that he didn't make a very smart decision.
Yep.
Right?
Play
And
stupid
if he didn't make
games,
a
win
very smart
stupid
decision
prizes.
when it comes to this, then he probably hasn't made very smart decisions throughout his whole life, which is why he was
Most
in the
likely.
situation that he was in the first place, which is
Yeah.
why he's interacting with police. A vast majority of the people who interact with police like this, again, aren't making good decisions, aren't living good lives, right? And sometimes as a result of that lack of intelligence, that lack of common sense, stuff like this happens. Just like in nature, right? It's kind of how it goes.
Yep.
So, you know, it may sound harsh, but it's real, right?
This
What I'm
is
telling
reality.
you is real. This
Reality's
is
gonna
how it
be
actually,
harsh.
this is how the real world works. And we should save our sympathy for people who actually, you know, deserve it, right?
Yep, who
People
actually
who don't
need it.
engage in stupid behaviors that
Yes.
lead to stuff like this, right? That doesn't mean that what happened to him, that, you know, he deserved it. No, I don't think he necessarily deserved it. But because of his own actions, this is what happened. It's just
Yep.
common sense, regardless of whether or not you agree or disagree with the use of force. Can we all agree that what he did was stupid, leading up to it? Right?
Absolutely.
I think we should all agree on that. Hey, don't do that. And then it
Exactly.
doesn't happen, right? This is not about boot licking. It's not what it's about. That's what, well, you like that leather. You like that boot. No. I like
Maybe
law and
I
order,
do.
right? I like
What you
living
gonna do about
in
it?
a peaceful community where criminals aren't emboldened because we basically told police that they can't do their jobs because, you know, police doing their jobs and supporting it, that's bootlicking. It's nonsense. Absolute nonsense. So, hey, let them protest. If they decide they want to defund the police, they want to abolish the police, they want to get rid of them, hey, let them suffer the consequences. But let me know what you guys
Yep.
think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most
Exactly.
importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.
Hey, you heard him. Well, what have we learned today? Well, number one, we learned not to be stupid, but that's a little too vague. I mean, it's not really vague, but for the liberals in the back, you know, how do you not be stupid? How do you not die in this kind of situation? Number one, and this is the most important, don't commit a crime. It's really that simple. Yeah, we all can probably commit like several crimes a day and we don't even know. Except, you know, there's the fact that when you're looking into people's cars, parked cars, you are definitely up to no good. You know, so not committing a crime is probably easy to say when we probably commit like several a day. But these are like small things, man. You know, I'm talking about big shit. Like, you know, in general, don't do bad things. Okay? Number one, don't do bad things. Don't do things that will get a police officer's attention. And I'm not talking about don't exist. I'm not talking about existing or just being innocent and a police officer just deciding to get their panties in a twist. No, I'm talking about doing things that would obviously get the a police officer's attention. For example, like looking inside parked cars or checking parked cars rather, whatever, checking parked cars, trying to pickpocket someone, obviously, being aggressive, things that would definitely get you on a police officer's radar. Okay? Number two, don't stab a police officer. Well, actually, before that, number two, don't resist arrest. If you genuinely believe that you were wrongfully detained and arrested, fight it in court. Lawyer up, fight it in court. Yeah, it's probably going to be a tough legal battle. Legal battles are not exactly easy. Fighting charges are not exactly easy. But if you genuinely believe that you were wrongfully arrested or detained, fight it in court. This also goes for traffic stops. If you believe you were if you believe that the ticket you were provided was if you believe that the ticket you were given was not warranted, then fight it in court. Lawyer up and fight it in court. Number three, do not stab a police officer. In general, don't get violent with a police officer. Don't do that. because that's exactly how you'll end up dead. You know, it's a golden rule. You don't get violent with police officers. You're pretty much giving them a reason to kill you or hurt you. Just don't do it. It's that simple. It's really that simple. Be calm, cool, and collective. If you have to yell, then do it sparingly. Don't excessively yell or continuously yell, because then they're gonna try to use it as an excuse to get you. Police officers can be crooked. We all know this. However, not all of them are. So like, I'm so let's not, act like they all are the same. So now we know how not to die in a situation like that. With that being said, like and subscribe. If you like the video, leave a like, subscribe, whatever. Colby out.